Today, the topic is sustainability and Web3 and how we can identify relevant business opportunities. My name is Johanny Pestalozzi. I will be hosting this event. I am recording the session just for the sake of keeping the documentation, maybe review for later, and further insights from it. So yeah, you will have access to this recording on YouTube and on my website if you would like to review this later. And yeah, now I will go back to my desk first. I need to move to the center and then here. So just give me 1 second to go back to my desk. Good. So here we are. As you can see, I can have access to my desktop from here. I uploaded my keyboard and the screen, which is now being projected on this whiteboard. Now, let me check if I can simply just, perfect, this is exactly what I wanted. So I will be then presenting from here. The agenda for today is the following. First, the idea was to introduce each other and exchange some words of what we're looking for, any questions that we may have that can help shape the experience in here. So I still see there is no one around, so I will just move on. Then I will present you some selected topics around sustainability and Web3, and then I will show you some conclusions and the references that I consulted for this presentation. Some words about me. As I said, my name is Johanny Pestalozzi. I'm a digital product manager with 12 plus years of cumulative work experience across different industries. I've worked with clients in different industries like software as a service, retail, banking, education, professional services, among others. And I have a PhD in technology acceptance and risk perception. And I am a candidate to an executive MBA at the University of Zurich on digital transformation. Yeah, so this was actually the moment in which the participants were supposed to share their name, their profession, and the reasons for why they were joining. But since we don't have, as well as questions, of course, that they may have for the presentation, since there is no one logging in today, I think we will just move on. The topics for today first are the concept of blockchain technology, just an overview of how it works to kind of bring the general public together to the same concept. Then the benefits of using blockchain for sustainability, the drivers for businesses to be sustainable, and then blockchain applications to promote sustainability and address climate change. Then we're going to have an overview of digital experiences that can leverage blockchain to promote sustainable behavior and sustainability practices in organizations. And then I will show you some business cases that are using blockchain for sustainability, and then some challenges of the technology for these purposes. Okay, so let's dive in directly into the concept of blockchain technology. So essentially, the process starts when a user requests a transaction. Then a peer-to-peer network functions. The requested transaction is broadcasted to a peer-to-peer network consisting of computers known as nodes. And then there is a validation step in which the network of nodes validates the transaction and the user's status using algorithms and reaches consensus. So all these different nodes are connected, validating, checking if the transaction is secure, is correct. And once the information is verified, then it passes on to the next step, which is the verification and storage. A verified transaction can involve tokenization, smart contracts, records, or other information. And after that, the transaction is complete. So essentially, these are the four main steps that entails blockchain technology. Users interacting with the technology through a digital experience, then peer-to-peer networks, a set of computers spread all over the web that verify a transaction, they validate it, and then it's confirmed, and then users can move on to the next steps. So some technologies that can be used in blockchain include distributed ledger, which is the immutable and transparent system of digital data and records on the web that are establishing this consensus, as we discussed, and enabling the trust. Then we also have smart contracts, which are automatic programmatically executed transactions. Then we have DAOs, decentralized structures or governance structures that oversee the allocation of resources in Web3 communities. Then we have payment tokens, which are the cryptocurrencies. We have asset tokens, digital asset representation, utility tokens, digital access and participation in decision making. And then we have decentralized monitoring, reviewing, and verification, which are digital solutions to verify the state of the asset and the outcomes. Hello. Sorry, I cannot hear you. Hi. Welcome. Great that you joined, actually. I just proceeded. There was no other participant, but I decided to move on nevertheless. So you're actually the only participant today, so thank you very much for joining.
Let's go.
Perfect. So maybe if you could say some words about you, your name, your location, your profession, and what interested you in this webinar.
Yeah, absolutely. So I'm Eric Manley, based in Scottsdale, Arizona, originally from a small town outside of New York City. And right now, my partner and I are launching a project and soon to be a full business called Legifier. And Legifier is really the first smart contract lifecycle management solution. I guess the inventor and my partner is over at LexisNexis now. So we're basically bringing contract lifecycle management to smart contracts. So I saw this webinar and it looked super interesting.
Perfect. Amazing, amazing. Cool, cool. So I'm great. I mean, it's great that you can find these kind of events that are hosted so far away. I mean, from your location here, I'm in Zurich. But it's great that, yes, I'm in Zurich.
Therefore, one of my favorite cities in the world.
Oh, really?
I absolutely love it.
Amazing, amazing. That's so great.
I was going to say one part about Switzerland, and I drove through for 4 hours. I found it so amazing. It's like I couldn't find a rundown place.
Oh, cool,
I
cool.
Find like a bad area, you know, whether it was up in Bern, you know, or up in the Alps. I mean, just the most beautiful. Oh, I could live in Switzerland anytime. So
that's so great. Great to hear. Great to hear. Amazing. So I didn't know that actually these events have this broad reach, let's say country-wise, but it is great that, you know, that we do have this, and the Web3 community is so international, so it's great to connect, right? Cool.
Absolutely.
Perfect. So I was just actually in the part of blockchain technology. You are pretty much accustomed to what the concept is, so I will actually just move on to the next step. So it was just essentially to show what's blockchain is about, you know, what are the main concepts. So we can just jump in directly to the next topic. Be quite general, so maybe you already know some of the concepts, and it's also an overview. So the idea is that you get some kind of an understanding of what is a map around sustainability and Web3, and then after today's presentation, you can dive deeper into the topics individually. So it's just for you to have an idea of what has been documented in general terms about this. So
And I'm just curious, maybe we can make this a little more conversational. I just would love to know about your background.
Sure, perfect. Oh, yeah, sorry about that.
If it's just us, I figure maybe we'll make it a little more...
Yeah, sure. So actually, I had this slide where I introduced myself.
Yeah, don't worry about going. Yeah, feel free to go out of order, you know?
No, it's amazing. Perfect. Absolutely. So, well, yeah. So I'm Johanny Pestalozzi. I'm based here in Zurich, as I said. I have been working as a digital product manager and different other roles, a researcher, project manager over the last 12 years. And I have worked with clients in different industries, including software as a service, retail, banking, education, professional services, among others. And I have a PhD in technology acceptance and risk perception. And I'm currently a candidate in an MBA program in digital transformation. So that's my background, pretty much around digital product management, customer experience, and digital experiences.
Sure. Awesome.
Cool. So I'm actually very interested in leveraging Web3 technology, so essentially blockchain, to provide an enhanced experience to customers. So create digital experiences that are not really focused on the technology per se, blockchain, but rather how we can create enhanced experiences of users while they're using an application, let's say a mobile app or a web desktop app, and then how we can use blockchain to make their experiences more seamless, more interesting, and more relevant for them. And specifically the sustainability aspect. So I think there is a huge opportunity to use blockchain to create more sustainable behaviors, to support organizations, track their supply chains, to improve their reporting. So that's essentially the idea behind this.
I love it.
Perfect. Great, great. So then I will move on to the next slides. Okay, so first, the benefits of using blockchain for sustainability. There is a broad list of concepts around what is the value that blockchain can bring to sustainability. And the first one is transparency and traceability. So we can support supply chains, we can support reporting, monitoring, and evaluation and validation of data throughout the sustainability reporting process. We can also improve efficiency and cost reduction for this documentation by reducing the middleman whenever there is a transaction or the whole process of data collection and verification. We enhance decentralization and inclusivity. So if we create DAOs, decentralized communities, we can facilitate access to this decision making, to data collection, and to also the better understanding what are nature assets that are relevant and need to be recognized as such. So it provides inclusivity. Ideally, of course, because importance is to follow up on the governance of the projects that are respectively implementing this technology. So, but the idea is to include different stakeholders. Then you have security and data integrity. So since it is in a ledger system, there is less risk of there are less cybersecurity risks, so that enables to have this data, let's say, secure and readily available. Then it supports verification and trust in carbon markets, so that different stakeholders around the world can have access to this data, so they have more trust into the different information that has been documented. And then we also have incentivizing sustainable behavior. If we plug this technology, as I mentioned, with digital experiences, we can potentially support people so that they can become more sustainable, as well as organizations. And we also enhance collaboration and coordination across different Web3 communities. We also support innovative financing mechanisms with different decentralized financial systems, and carbon credits and tokenization of these credits can also facilitate liquidity and access to these different markets. And we can provide real-time and accurate data collection, as well as long-term impact and sustainability. So these are 10 benefits that have been identified as valuable for blockchain for sustainability. I think this can be a good selling proposition for investors and for, let's say, corporates or even small businesses to adopt the technology and consider transitioning to a more seamless, a more decentralized approach to data collection, management, and verification.
Makes sense, yeah.
Yeah, so then if we move on to the next slide, the drivers in a more concrete way for businesses to be sustainable. Once we understand, okay, what the technology can do for us, then why should business care about sustainability? Although this is a topic, of course, that has been discussed for a long time already, it is nevertheless relevant to kind of refresh on why should we care about sustainability at the, let's say, business level. Then essentially is legal and regulatory compliance. I focus pretty much on presentation on the Swiss market, the Swiss reality. So we have a Swiss carbon market. Maybe in the US you have something similar. Maybe every state is somehow different. But then you also have, of course, the corporate social responsibility. You have environmental stewardship, which could be of relevance for boards of directors and for certain markets. You have market access and competitiveness. So you have customer expectations, access to markets, risk management, let's say climate risks, specifically in certain industry, could be of high relevance. You have cost saving and efficiency and energy efficiency measures, financial incentives. If you can track what are the different sources of energy losses or waste generation, you can track these different processes and better identify where you can save this energy, and also because of international commitments like the Paris Agreement. So you have a compliance side of sustainability, as well as a voluntary approach to sustainability to be more competitive due to customer expectations, and also due to CSR approaches. Good. So Nature Finance recently published this let's say, categorization or mapping of the different nature markets that, according to them, exist. Essentially, there are four types. There are asset markets, intrinsic markets, credit, and derivative markets. So the intention of this table is essentially to provide an overview of what are the different nature markets that exist and how we could integrate blockchain technology to create this process more efficient and more transparent. So in asset markets, you have markets in which a right to use an ecosystem assets with long-lived value are traded. Some examples of these are agricultural land, timberland, water rights, biodiversity, among others. So the idea would be to kind of tokenize these different assets and then kind of provide the rights to the usage of these assets. Then you have intrinsic markets, and here you have markets in which provisioning, regulating, or cultural ecosystem services are traded. Some of them include, for example, genetic material, water rights, leases, wildlife tourism, payments for ecosystem services, philanthropic grants, sustainability-linked debt, among others. Then you have credit markets in which the credits that reflect efforts to enhance or conserve the ecosystem assets or services are traded. And this includes water quality credits, voluntary biodiversity credits, nature-related voluntary carbon credits, among others. And finally, we have derivative markets for financial products which directly reflect ecosystem values or ecosystem risks. And they include nature-related insurance, wildlife, NFTs, biodiversity loss insurance, securitization of ecosystem assets, and water futures. So this is an overview of these different nature markets. So I wanted to be a bit more concrete on how blockchain in a more practical way can be integrated into this. So these are this is a selection of some applications of blockchain, and it ranges from supply chain transparency and traceability, including, for example, tracking origins or fair trade verification. So when we talk about supply chain, you can think of all kind of nature products that you may have. It can be agriculture, but it can also be sustainability, let's say, forest conservation. All that includes a supply chain in itself can be then tracked, and blockchain can be integrated into this. Then you have carbon credits.
I'm curious, Joanna, is that how I pronounce it too?
Johanny.
Johanny? Okay.
Right.
Okay, got it now. Johanny, when you, for number 2, the tokenization of carbon credits, how would you foresee that happening?
Right.
And is it already being done?
Yes, absolutely. So actually, I will go in more detail through each one of these cases.
Okay.
So I will just go through this an overview so that you know what are the different options, and then I will explain in more detail what this actually means. And I also brought 2 examples to see how this has been implemented in the market. But there are already several cases worldwide that are already tokenizing carbon credits. So yeah, for now, we'll just go through this. So the next is renewable energy certificates for issuance and trading and peer-to-peer energy trading, using smart contracts to make the process more efficient and more transparent, and also to help save energy, and also to enable kind of community-based renewable energy trading. Then you have sustainable agriculture, as I mentioned, around supply chains, food safety and quality, water management in terms of water usage tracking and pollution control, and then circular economy around waste management, product lifecycle management. So this is the first batch. There is a second set of 6 applications, but the idea is for you, if you're interested, after the session, you can start already identifying what are relevant use cases or industries where blockchain could be applied. So in all of them, there is potential. We just need to, of course, just look what is the economic value around it.
So, Joanna, just from your and little sidetrack here, and now that we are kind of one-on-one, just super interested. So one of my understandings and why we created Legifier is the smart contracts are absolutely terrific, but they're you need a Solidity developer. They're hard to create. Is that your understanding of them? And that's kind of like a barrier to adoption. It's difficult to create smart contracts, and there's just a lack of developers.
Yeah, actually, there is. I also included a slide on the challenges of applying blockchain for sustainability and blockchain in general. And of course, the technical aspect is an important one. On one
Okay.
hand, the availability of trained software developers and people who can support in the infrastructure and the backbone of blockchain, but at the same time also the effectiveness of the technology itself. So you need the support of organizations that have experience and have the background, the track record of implementing this. So both the technology as well, the skills availability are important aspects to consider.
This is super interesting, and you're obviously super well versed in this. I have 30 minutes. I have to jump off at 10, but I want you to finish
No
your
worries.
presentation because you're doing a
No
really
worries.
good job. And also, like, I feel this is good practice for you at a minimum.
Sure.
But I'm meeting with Brett Seiler, who is, I don't know if you've heard of him, but he runs Forte Games. And he's quite interested in the product that we're offering. But essentially, my partner's developed a software that allows you to create a smart contract in less than 5 minutes and deploy it. Right now, we're just doing to Ethereum. But the software allows you to create a smart contract in under 5 minutes. For simple ones, it's like about a minute. For more complex, under 5. So yeah, that's one thing. If you have insight on that and you're just really well versed in this, but like we've talked to a few companies where they're like, hey, listen, if you can make easy smart contracts, we can immediately start implementing carbon credits, right? And I just very high level of what we do, but as you're presenting, anything you could touch on smart contracts would be great because that's really where we're launching the business.
Right, I understand. But are you looking more for technical support on it, or what exactly are you looking for?
Yeah,
Technical
absolutely.
support.
So
Okay.
we're
So,
launching in a week. We really need like
okay.
another Python developer.
Okay.
Um,
Okay. Cool. So, well, the purpose of the presentation was not really that technical, so it was more applications of the
yep,
technology into sustainability and Web3. So much of what I will present will be continue to be use cases.
great.
So in that side, I may disappoint you there because I'm not really covering much of the technical aspect.
No
Um,
disappointment.
yeah, but in Zurich, I do know of several organizations that can provide this technical support. If you like, please drop me a note on Meetups and send me your email, and I will then share with you some of those companies that can provide you at least with an overview of what they do, and you can then decide if you would like to continue working with them or not.
That would be amazing. And also, we're looking for beta users, right? We're launching next week, so we just want a few people that are familiar with smart contracts to use the platform for free, at no cost. So if you find anyone in Zurich or anywhere in your network, it doesn't matter where in the world, we're
Yeah,
happy to have them on the platform and test it out.
got it. Yeah, sure, sure. If I hear, then I will let you know.
Great. I see we have another participant, so I'll
Yeah,
let you get back
this
to
is
the
amazing.
demo.
Perfect. So thanks a lot for joining, and then we stay in contact.
Great. Thanks so much.
Sure. Thank you. So hello. Not sure how I can pronounce your name, but if you can please, Istvan, unmute yourself and share a little bit about your background and why you joined.
Yeah. Um, Hi.
Yeah.
So
Hello.
I just saw this meetup, and I'm into the blockchain space, mostly as a hobbyist since like 2017. I'm like I like to attend these kind of blockchain themed meetups. So not too much like specifics.
Got it. Perfect.
Okay.
And are
Yeah.
you based in Zurich or anywhere else?
Yeah, in Zurich. Yeah.
Ah, cool.
Usually.
Perfect. Perfect. So, do you have any question around the presentation or any expectation what you were looking for this presentation?
No, not really. I'm just curious.
Okay,
Yeah.
cool, cool. But you're familiar with the technology, or is it completely new for you
You mean what technology
with
or?
blockchain?
Yeah, of course. Yeah, yeah. So yeah, I'm familiar with blockchain
Okay,
technology. Yeah.
perfect. Perfect. So we had already a couple of minutes in the presentation, so I already went through some basic concepts. Now I was just providing an overview of what are different applications of blockchain for sustainability and climate change. So the idea with this table is just to show you an overview. Then I will go into more detail, a little bit more detail. But after the presentation, the idea is that you can go and dive deeper into these topics that may interest you. So one of the applications is supply chain transparency and traceability, then carbon credit and offset management, tokenizing carbon credits and increasing the efficiency of trading platforms, then renewable energy certificates, issuance and trading, and peer-to-peer energy trading in DAOs communities, essentially, and then sustainable agriculture, supply chains and food safety and quality, water management, and circular economy with waste management and product lifecycle management. So other uses are decentralized environmental governance to promote community-led initiatives and also enable transparent reporting. Then climate finance, issuing green bonds and decentralized finance. Then disaster response and management for resource allocation insurance claims. Smart grids and IoT integration for energy grid management and real-time data sharing. Then biodiversity and wildlife conservation, tracking and monitoring, and anti-poaching efforts. And then sustainable development goals tracking for process monitoring and impact measurement. So as you can see, we have a broad list of applications for blockchain. There is huge potential in the technology. And for each one of these sectors, we can identify use cases and industries that can leverage technology to create the process more trustworthy, more seamless, and more reliable. So now I would like to go briefly through these different use cases. For example, when we talk about supply chain transparency and traceability, we can track the origins of different products and services, ensuring that they are sustainably sourced. Of course, it is important that the origin of the data is reliable by either using high tech with IoT satellite data and or reliable data collection from the source, of course. And this is important for industries like agriculture, forestry, and fisheries. And then we also have fair trade verification, especially for certified products, to verify that the practices are fair and that are ethical. And this encourages companies to adopt sustainable practices. And also, of course, for products that are certified as such, to make sure that the practices are overall sustainable throughout the supply chain. Then we have carbon credits and offset management. As I mentioned, tokenizing carbon credits, making it easier to trade, to track, and verify them. So this is a digital version of the physical assets of the carbon sequestration. And this reduces the risk of double counting and fraud. So it's essentially to be more transparent into the carbon credit itself and also easing the commercialization, the trading, and the generation of these credits online. And then you have efficient trade platforms. So blockchain can facilitate the creation of decentralized platforms for buying and selling carbon credits. So this increases the market accessibility and the transparency. So on one hand, you can digitize these carbon credits, and on the other hand, you can then create platforms that enable this trading. Then we have renewable energy certificates for the issuance and trading. This technology can streamline this process by providing secure and transparent records of renewable energy production and consumption. And then you can have peer-to-peer energy trading with the smart contracts. Eric, this could be of relevance for you for the renewable energy certificates. You can implement the smart contracts to make the process faster, more streamlined, and more decentralized. And of course, have more access between producers and consumers, promoting more decentralized market. Then you have sustainable agriculture, essentially due to their supply chain. You can track and verify sustainable farming practices, ensuring compliance with environmental standards. And then food safety and quality, providing an immutable record of food production and distribution, enhancing food safety and quality assurance. So these are the first four sectors for application. Then we have waste management around water usage tracking. Blockchain can help monitor water usage and distribution in real time, ensuring the efficient and equitable use of water resources. So I think the application of IoT technology is very relevant here to have this real-time generation of that data, and blockchain can enable this immediate access to the data and the transfer and availability of the data to different stakeholders. Then you have pollution control. You can help track the sources and levels of water pollution, facilitating better regulation and remediation efforts. Other applications are around circular economy, for example, around waste management. Blockchain can help track waste from different sources, from the production to disposal, and this ensures that the waste is properly managed and recycled. And also product life cycle management, especially in the retail sector, can help track products around its entire life cycle, from the generation or the production to the promotion of reuse, refurbishment, and recycling. Then we have climate finance with green bonds. Blockchain can facilitate the issuance and trading of green bonds, ensuring that funds are used for sustainable projects. And then decentralized finance. These platforms can provide new financing mechanisms for climate projects using blockchain to automate and secure transactions, essentially leveraging crypto currencies and also decentralized communities and the smart contracts and the different easiness or streamlined processes for the generation of these smart contracts. And then we have disaster response and management. One of the applications is around resource allocation. The technology can help ensure transparent and efficient allocation of resources for disaster response. This helps reduce corruption and mismanagement. And then in insurance claims, smart contracts can help automate and expedite insurance claims for climate-related damages, providing timely support and affected communities. Then the final applications are around smart grids and IoT integration. When we talk about energy grid management, blockchain can be coupled with IoT devices to manage and optimize energy grids, reduce wastage, and improve efficiency. And then real-time data sharing, securely sharing the real-time data on energy production and consumption. And this can help balancing supply and demand, promoting sustainability. So that this can be easily coupled with current renewable technologies, solar panels, for example, that many houses have integrated already. So they can couple it with blockchain to quickly and easily streamline the data collection and reporting, and then the trading of, for example, excess renewable energy that they can easily sell to other people, and tokenize these assets and then get revenues out of it. Then we have biodiversity and wildlife conservation, tracking and monitoring. Blockchain can help track the movement and health of wildlife populations, aiding in conservation efforts. Then anti-poaching efforts. These are immutable records of wildlife sightings and anti-poaching activities that support enforcement and conservation strategies. And finally, we have sustainable development goals tracking. On one hand, is progress monitoring. You can help track the progress around sustainable development goals and impact measurement, and it enables the accurate measurement and reporting of the impact sustainability initiatives have, ensuring accountability and effectiveness. So as you can see, most of the applications are around supply chain management, integrated into either agriculture or waste management or wildlife conservation. And other is around a smart contract application in these different processes and ensuring accountability, effectiveness, transparency, and trustworthiness of the data that is generated. So another application of blockchain is through digital experiences. Previously, I was discussing this approach, which is essentially to integrate the blockchain to a customer journey to help them achieve their traditional digital tasks with the support of the technology. And this may include sustainable product verification. You can have a website where you can verify the life cycle of a product, which is backed by blockchain. You have transparent supply chains. You can have a website around this or a mobile app. Carbon footprint tracking that can be of support for, let's say, people in a community, in a city, that can help them reduce their carbon footprint. And thanks to blockchain, they can easily track these and verify their tracking, their emissions, and maybe coupled with an offsetting mechanism can easily help them be more sustainable. Then you have decentralized environmental initiatives, energy market and smart grids, waste management and recycling, sustainable tourism, digital carbon markets, education awareness campaigns, as well as art and media for climate action. So these are all different options in which you can leverage, on one hand, sustainability efforts, on the other hand, digital experiences, how a customer interacts with an application, and then blockchain technology to make the process reliable, efficient, and in a more seamless way. Good. Here are two cases that I identified of using blockchain for sustainability already. This is Bancor, is a startup based in Switzerland, and what they do is that they decentralize finance to fund sustainability projects around the world, and they enhance the allocation of resources for environmental impact. So this is an example of how we can streamline funding sustainability projects, and we can ensure that these funds are directed specifically to the projects in case. So it helps to create more liquidity pools for environmental initiatives, and it helps, of course, provide more transparency in this process. Then we have Invest Conservation. It's also a decentralized finance approach. And what they do is that they protect irreplaceable biodiversity in tropical forests by using NFTs. So essentially they tokenize the assets. And then they focus exclusively on high impact tropical forest conservation projects in biodiversity hotspots. So they help connect both people who are interested in either offsetting their emissions or essentially protecting biodiversity around the world or in tropical areas. And then they create this decentralized platform where they can go and invest directly through these projects with their platform. So there are many different other companies that are active in the area across these different sectors, from biodiversity credits to supply chain management, monitoring, reporting, and verification, infrastructure of blockchain, gaming and consumer nudging, water trading, sustainability linked sovereign bonds, among others. As you can see, these are different logos, different organizations around the world that are active in this area. And you can review, of course, their business models and their value proposition later on to confirm or to gain insights into how you can leverage the technology for your own concepts you may be developing or to improve those. Here is an interesting business model canvas for Web3 applications. This was created by Swisscom. It's a Swiss telecommunication company. And I found it very useful because it enhances the traditional business model canvas for value creation. As you can see, you have here what are the customer assets, for example, if it's art, real estate, equity, etc. And then you have the value proposition, what is the value that we're offering to the customers, if it's, for example, transparency, community building, or any other type of value that we're offering through blockchain. Then the customer segments, who are the customers we're addressing, and then competitive advantage, how we differentiate this product in the market. Then we have social and legal concerns, if it's around sustainability, social value, etc., of the product itself. And then community engagement, how do we ensure that different stakeholders are engaged? Then governance and ownership, who are the stakeholders, decentralized assets and activities, network technology, more in the technical part. And then key partners, if it's public or private, token economics, how are the tokens, what are the tokens that are integrated, how they are managed, how they're transferred, and then what are the rules of the governance, and then the cash flows, how those organizations generate the cash, and how these processes are streamlined, what are the costs associated to it, and so on. So I think this is a very interesting business model canvas to evaluate and to define potential business activities moving forward. Then to finalize some key challenges of blockchain applications for sustainability that have been identified, and they include the escalation of the technology will require unprecedented speed and coordination among different stakeholders, public and private. Then you have reputational challenges facing the industry. Many people associate blockchain technology with crypto assets or cryptocurrencies, and some of them have had some serious reputational challenges, so this is something to address. Then overcoming complexity and education educational gaps. Some people are not very aware of what blockchain can do for them and how Web3 technology helps them in their daily lives. So we need to enhance this educational reach out. Then maintaining a focus on real world impact, finding real use cases and lack of regulatory clarity around blockchain technology and essentially and especially around decentralized finance. There are some further challenges that are around energy consumption of blockchain, the scalability, as I mentioned, the data quality and integrity, which require some governance approach, and security and privacy concern, among others. I also wanted to highlight Uplink, which is an initiative of the World Bank that identifies relevant sustainability and climate related applications around the world. This is from the YouTube channel. You can access the different videos that they have available. You can have a look at what they're doing. And they also run different competitions that are of global nature, and you can join any of them and provide solutions to these sustainability and climate related issues. And to finalize some conclusions and outlook on this, I believe that to identify relevant business opportunities at the intersection of sustainability and Web3 technologies, we need to consider these 5 steps or elements. The first one is, of course, you need to select an industry and understand its business potential and sustainability regulations or requirements. So there's where we identify what is the business value that can be generated there. Then we assess how blockchain can help, if it's around addressing sustainability problems, and then identifying this information from industry and scientific literature, of course. Then identifying key stakeholders in the industry, if it's, for example, traditional businesses or blockchain providers. And then determining the gap in what is the problem in the industry, what are the customer needs, versus the blockchain solutions that are available in the market. And once we identify these gaps, we can then run different innovation methods, for example, design thinking or ideation sessions, to close that gap, considering blockchain value proposition, sustainability requirements, and the Web3 business models. I think this could be an interesting approach to follow to identify real-life applications of blockchain to help address sustainability and climate-related issues. So some of the sources I consulted for this presentation are these ones. Feel free to find them on the internet, download them. They're also available on the Meetup group discussion. And so I thank you very much for your participation and for your interest in this topic. Also, feel free to connect with me on LinkedIn. You can scan this QR code and you can access it. And also, here's a link to my portfolio where you can find the different projects I have been working up until now. So thanks a lot. And if you have any questions or any comments, feel free to unmute yourself and just share them with us.
Yeah, super great presentation. Really, really interesting. And it kind of made me think of, I guess, one of the DAOs in this, or DAOs in this space is, have you heard of VeChain?
No, I haven't.
VeChain is really, really cool. I was just on a presentation with them, but essentially, they're promoting sustainability, and basically, like, if, let's say there was an area in Zurich that was after one of the festivals. It's a very dirty area. A lot of glass has been smashed. You take a picture of that, and then you take a picture of it cleaned up, right? And then you're rewarded with their tokens.
Oh, cool.
So I think that's somewhat along the lines of how you see things going.
Right.
More companies like that. Is that with DAOs and?
Yeah, absolutely. So thanks a lot for the insights. I will surely have a look at this. I think there are some different use cases around the world with different applications that we just discussed. And it would be interesting to leverage the insights that they have generated up until now, what has worked, what hasn't, and then identify opportunities to create something that can leverage this knowledge and help us create more sustainability-driven initiatives, also creating DAOs in our own communities. So I believe there is a lot of potential using Web3 technologies for sustainability and climate change. So we just need to start ideating those opportunities.
Can I have a question too? So,
Sure.
I'm sorry that I came late. I think I got the general theme of the presentation, and I think there are some really good ideas. It's a little bit like broad here. And my concern actually is that like in some cases I think it's like you really want to put blockchain in something, and the question is if that really does help. So maybe it helps for some kind of a like transparency aspect. That's great, but where do you see that blockchain really helps in these like sustainability topics? Because
Sure.
yes, like for example, the VeChain app, it's also like really cool, but like okay, it would also work without any blockchain. So,
Yeah, sure,
so it's,
exactly. So we're actually
uh,
at the beginning. Yeah, sorry.
yeah, go on.
Yeah, so at the beginning of the presentation, we were discussing, what are the benefits of using blockchain for sustainability? Why should we care after all? And we were discussing that, well, one of the components that is broadly discussed is that, well, you have more transparency and more traceability on the data. So you can put it in an immutable ledger that cannot be modified, cannot be replaced or stolen, so to say, and then this creates more trust when you have complex supply chains or complex evaluation processes. If you have certification bodies, for example, for fair trade or for carbon credit markets, you need some kind of reliable records of data that are accessible. And blockchain is a good application for these cases. You also have efficiency and cost reduction. Of course, it's not to put blockchain in everything that has a record, but I think if you find a good use case, an interesting industry that has a high risk around data generation and management and the whole supply chain, when you have products of high value, I think there is interest of using high-end technology like blockchain. So as you can see here, there is a large list of benefits, decentralization and inclusivity. You can provide more access to the carbon credit market and sustainability markets across different users. Of course, that means that you would need to provide digital access to these users and that they would in some way understand how this is used. But blockchain is working pretty much in the background, so you don't really need people who understand the complexity of blockchain, but rather create an interface, a user experience that can ease them the usage of the technology, and let's say simply through a button or highly clear statements that can help and understand what they're doing, what the process is about. And of course, in different end users. So you can have people who are very specialized, let's say in decentralized finance, in wealth management, asset management, who know very well into their technical fields. And then you may have end users who may be having an e-commerce website or simply a carbon tracking application. So you have different end users and different ways of how to describe the technology and how they can interact with it. So essentially is on one hand, understanding what are the benefits of the technology, and on the other hand, what are the needs of customers, and then let's say closing that gap. And in this case, around sustainability. So what people want to do around sustainability. So is it if it's at the corporate level, there are certain needs, certain requirements. We were also discussing some drivers for businesses, and many of them are essentially around regulations and also competitiveness. So they want to demonstrate that they're competitive, and market access. And then if you have traditional customers and customers, so you have people who just want to be sustainable and want to track their carbon footprint or want to engage with environmental projects around the world. So if there are people who are very conscious and they want to make sure that, let's say, if the money that they are donating for a project is really reaching the projects that they are supporting, so they can use blockchain. And other applications are around gamified experiences. So you can tokenize natural assets and then find liquidity of these assets through digital experiences. People can either trade them, let's say, through traditional financial markets, or you can create gamified experiences where people can, let's say, play around and then create NFTs of these assets and then gain points around it and create impacts in real life out of the interaction that they have digitally.
Yeah, thanks. So I see that you're really good in like connecting these use cases. So, for example, a little bit more about myself. I have a company, like since 2007, that we are actually doing GPS tracking, and then lately for more advanced use cases where you have to track what happens on the field in cases where there are complex scenarios that people have to execute, and then we measure. So there is a plan, and then we measure if everything is going according to the plan, and then so this is my main thing, and then I'm in crypto like more like as a hobbyist. I have some like hobby project that I don't even want to mention. I don't want to shield the things, and I'm always trying to find some great connection, but not like just okay put blockchain because that's good, and then you can create a token and like scam people into giving you
Right, I
their
understand.
money. So, and I couldn't really find a lot better yet, and I also didn't find too much market for that than just like, okay, having the data, like some hash of the data, and then put it on the blockchain as because that's a really good like timestamping tool, so that the validity of the data and like the history can be verified.
Right.
So if you have like, you think in this kind of like GPS trafficking of more complex, because like, yeah, of course, for these like supply chain things, GPS tracking is great, but okay, how do you know what is being tracked? So the Oracle problem is, I think, the biggest problem in this whole field.
Yeah.
Um, and I think there are some nice sentences about okay, that's like okay, this has to be solved in a reliable way. But okay, how do you track if like some let's say there is a fair trade certificate and this will be audited, but okay, after the audit, how do they do what they do? It's really hard to like know if you're not like having all real-time data with cameras and
Siobhan, I
everything.
have a question for you.
Yeah.
And Johanna and I were talking about it before, but
Mm-hmm.
one way potentially to secure that information would be through a smart contract. Is that something you guys are doing already? If you considered?
No, so what do you mean? What do you mean by the smart contract for?
Yep. So you were saying one of the challenges is kind of tracking. I think you gave the example of like GPS tracking. Like, yeah, I just want to
Yeah.
try to understand how are you guys doing that right now? And you said Morat, did you say?
What?
You're doing
Sorry.
it with Morat? You said you're GPS tracking with a certain company?
Oh, no, no. So we are actually a provider of GPS tracking. So our company is developing like when we want to like track assets or vehicles or so, then we buy these GPS trackers, or actually we also track people, or we have a software for the phone, and then of course we will try to focus that privacy is fully respected, and that's the easiest when it's on their phone because then it's totally transparent how it works. But yeah, so yeah, we could do something like putting some of the data of the tracks into the blockchain so that it's like immutable. But then, okay, of course, then comes all the GDPR stuff that you want to be able to delete and the right to forget and stuff like this. Um, which is it is funny. I don't know how serious it is. We never run into. Of course, we are a smaller company, but we do have some bigger clients. We never run into any issues. And yeah, it's also for the context. So the company is actually in Hungary, and only I am in Zurich. So maybe Central Europe is a little bit less privacy sensitive, and all these kind of use cases are less interesting there yet. I
Right.
think
And I'm in America, so I would say we're some of the most stringent, right? I mean, with adopting blockchain, or some of the slowest, I should say, to adopting blockchain.
yeah, it's interesting. Yeah, yeah. Maybe
I
maybe
think
it was
Europe's a
the
lot
regulation.
further ahead than the States.
so the regulation wise, yeah, but like the companies and all the innovation is still like happening in so like okay, I'm like a bankless listener. I don't know if you're familiar with the Bankless podcast. So that is
No.
yeah, that's really good. I think that's really like a nice window into what's really happening in the blockchain industry. And Unchained, I'm not listening to that too much lately, but that's also a classic. Um, and actually, so I moved from Hungary to Zurich, and Zurich is really good in terms of like it's a small place. Switzerland is a small place, but so many crypto founders and people from crypto companies are here that all these meetups are always like phenomenal. I don't know how it should like. I guess San Francisco or the area, like the valley, should also be quite vibrant. But
It's not. I'm an hour and a half flight from San Francisco. I can go anytime. I'll be in Europe all summer going to events, right?
Oh, interesting.
If you look at blockchain events, specifically like Ethereum and Joanna, correct me if I'm wrong, they're almost all in Europe.
Okay,
Many of
like the
them, yes.
company. Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay. Okay,
China,
yeah.
Southeast Asia, like America's not. We're not quite there. So this is. I have no problem coming to Europe anytime. Budapest, Zurich, amazing.
Okay, yeah. Okay. Yeah, so like back to the so I so there is this problem like there is this general use case of like supply chain tracking. Okay, so I think well maybe blockchain is really good for that, but I think only in this small area, like it's still not really solved because so where do you get the data from? It's okay that once it's on the blockchain, it's immutable. Okay, really good. But how do you know how reliable the data is? That's that's a problem.
Yeah, sure, absolutely. I think that could definitely be a topic to follow up. I think that there should be several publications around it. I didn't focus much of the presentation on that. However, I can just tell you like quickly an idea that may help address that. And it's essentially to distribute the data sourcing. So the same way you have DAO communities, to ensure governance structures for participation and visibility and diversity of different stakeholders. And the concept of blockchain itself to ensure that the data is correct and verifiable. You can have similar approaches in real life for inserting data. In that sense, you can have, let's say, key stakeholders that you assign as data collectors or data sources, and then you can compare the data input. So if then provide also some ranges of accuracy. So if you say, for example, 5% variation is acceptable or not, then you can take measures around it. So if it's too different the data input, then you need to retake it and so on.
So just that I understand correctly, what you're suggesting is that like some kind of a decentralized data sourcing, so that there is some overlap
Exactly.
of the data, and then
Yeah.
of course there will be some variation, but then if it's closed, then we would say okay, that's
Real. Exactly.
Yeah. Okay. So that means that you have to decentralize these people so that they cannot or do not want to collude to. Yeah, so you really need to know the incentives of
Right.
these people. Yeah,
Exactly.
so it's like really use case by use case.
Absolutely. Yeah, that's a very good point, actually, to make sure that people are reliable. Maybe find other mechanisms, to ensure this robustness around the data input. So you can have rotating people so that it's not always the same, and create kind of criteria for identifying who they are and certain training so that they know how the data is collected and the quality that it should be in process. But there will always be some level of inaccuracy, right? However, I think it's definitely an important point because everything starts there, right, in the data input. And of course, the alternative is for processes where you can automate data collection. You can use high-end technology, like IoT technology or satellite directly collected technology. Reference technology could also be an alternative.
I did have an idea about like, and that is an assumption. I think that's like some kind of a research topic that I assume that a GPS track, if it's really fine grained, and we do collect, we are do able to collect like uh, like 1 second precise GPS data with like very low battery requirements. And I think that the error that is in the data should be like not really easily fakeable. So like it shouldn't be that easy to fake the data. So there should be some algorithm that could tell you that so how reliable a GPS track is. So
Yeah.
maybe that would be interesting in a. But I've talked to a few people about this, but yeah, it's not. It's just an assumption. Maybe it's a totally wrong assumption.
I
But
understand.
if that would work, I think that could be an interesting thing to like have some algorithm that says, okay, this GPS track is valid. So what was tracked then is a valid. We
Yeah.
know that at least the tracker was there
Mm-hmm.
at that point in time, and then that says something.
Sure. Absolutely. Great. So if I can ask you for a favor, if you could take a screenshot of your screen, just to have, let's say, a memory of this session, I would like to share on social media, on LinkedIn, an overview, some highlights of today's discussion. But from my headset, I only have my user view. So I thought if I could, kindly ask you to take a screenshot and share it with me on Meetup, it would be great. And that's essentially it. I can actually let me just move briefly to the whiteboard, and maybe this is another view. Just 1 second. So for you, if you're familiar with Meta Horizon Workrooms, is this your first time, or have you already have you been in a mixed reality event before?
I've done one where we sat on a beach and a bar.
Ah, okay. Okay, one moment.
At a quest right now, or
So actually, yeah, this is Quest. This is like right now I'm like in a very futuristic city. I will share the video later on so you can have the whole experience. I try, yeah. So actually, it's a
Are you using Oculus?
Oculus, yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
So, but yeah, it's very funny because it's not possible for you to have the whole experience, and yeah, but it's a very nice environment. It looks pretty much very futuristic. A lot of skyscrapers. It looks pretty much like Dubai related
Oh,
environment.
there you are.
Oh, how
No,
cool!
it was a terrible joke. It was.
That's so
I wish I
nice. That's so nice. So if you could also take a picture or a screenshot from this angle, it would be great just to have this another angle. And actually, I would like to also take a picture from you. Just 1 second. 1 second.
I think there was an interruption in the connection, or
Okay. Oh yeah, it was just me that I tried to switch to take a picture from this angle of you too, and I think Meta has been making some changes, and now I have to kind of go through the pass through option and then come back. I think they just want to limit people from recording or taking pictures, but yeah, I made it. Cool.
Okay.
Cool. So well, this is it. Yeah.
Uh, just can I have one? Like, or do you still have like a 5 minute or something?
Yes, sure, I
Because
do. I do.
sorry again that I missed the beginning, but
Yeah.
so I haven't heard Eric's introduction, so I would be curious what Eric is doing. Also, your so your name is Joanny. Joanny.
Johanny.
Johanny. Okay, sorry. So Johanny, your so like your background or something. So some.
Yeah, sure. So I just need to grab some water first. So maybe, Alex, if you would like to go
Honey,
ahead.
and Esteban dropped off, it looks like by accident. He may rejoin.
Oh, just 1 second.
Oh, he's back. Yep, you grab.
Yes.
Hey,
And I.
Joanne, just grab as you got clicked out. So we're all back.
Okay.
Yeah, Esteban, real high level. I was explaining to Giovanni, my partner and I are launching a smart contract solution in a week. So I guess one of the biggest challenges with smart contracts is just you need a Solidity developer. They're extremely difficult to create, right? It just takes time. So our software, we can create a smart contract in less than 5 minutes now. And then right now we're just going to be deploying to Ethereum. But that's kind of why I was asking about smart contracts, because we really believe they are the future. I actually have a meeting in 20 minutes with one of the top gaming companies that's already using smart contracts. I mean, they've raised $800 million and they're specific for blockchain, right? So they're fighting against Sony and Microsoft, and they're all about decentralization and also making sure that players get paid for instead of just the companies taking all the money. So essentially, smart contracts though could be utilized for any industry. And I was explaining to Joanna, we would love some beta users and introduce this product. Should we take this and just apply one niche to it first? Or, should we just go after gaming? Obviously, there's a huge thing in DeFi, but who wants to mess with the regulation? So, and sustainability, when we talk to VeChain, just some very interesting things, but we're basically breaking that barrier away from needing a Solidity developer for smart contracts, and then you can take it through an auditing and security process through our platform, high level.
Quite ambition and very interesting.
Thanks.
So if you like, please share the link with us. I would be very interested in learning more about what you're doing. And
sure.
We'd love to take you guys through a demo. Again, you'll be some of the first to see it. We've met with some amazing professors at Duke University who are, there are some people in America teaching blockchain. And now, we're meeting with some top companies, but we're trying to get feedback, right? From people from people like yourself. You've been a product manager forever. So any insights we'd lovely appreciate. So I'll reach out directly, and then I'll also send you these screenshots too. I took 4 or 5.
Awesome. Thank you so much. Perfect. So I can look forward to the link and the screenshots, and also for your feedback. I'll be super happy also to support you with some review from my side, some insights that can help you further develop your product. And I thank you very much for your participation today. It was really great. I enjoyed the discussion very much. So I also hope that the presentation was useful to you. And I look forward to greeting you at the next event.
Okay, thanks. So Eric, can you share? I don't know where we could share some LinkedIn or something. So
I'll reach out to you personally. Mm-hmm. Why don't I get you on with my founder, who's he's a lawyer, LexisNexis guy, and this is how he came up with this smart contract idea.
Perfect.
So I'll bring him on. He's more technical than me. But Esteban, we'd absolutely, and is that pronounced correctly, Esteban?
Yeah, Istvan, yeah.
Istvan?
It's
it'd be great to get your guys' opinion.
Mm-hmm. Perfect.
Yeah,
Perfect.
I love Budapest too. So again, I'm a big Euro fan team.
Okay,
perfect.
Great. So maybe you can reach me on Meetup. So
yes,
I'll get you on Meetup, and then let's get direct contact info from there, and we'll set you up. Dude, we're gonna be live in a week, so I can't thank you all enough.
Perfect. Awesome. Thank you very much. Thank you. Have a nice rest of the day. Take care.
Bye, guys.
Goodbye.